Hey, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, but I am for real. And this is what I did in January. The Midnight Pre-Patch came out last Tuesday, and it was interesting, mainly with the add-on Purge. A lot of my add-ons were actually fine, just needed to get updated, but there were some big ones that were no longer usable, like, for example, shadowed unit frames, and of course, weak auras. I spent some time on Wednesday on stream going through some of these add-ons and seeing if there are any alternatives or what I could do with the default UI. And overall, I just felt very frustrated and a little bit overwhelmed with the options that I had. I don't really want to work on my UI and reset it all up and do all this stuff that I already did when The War Within came out with new add-ons this time. So part of me just wants to keep using the default UI, as ugly as it may be, just simply because I don't want to go through and do all this stuff, but it is such an awful UI that I probably won't. But then there's things that are frustrating with, like, the cooldown manager, for example, that I just can't believe we're in this state with it. Like, I don't understand how you see something like weak auras or any other cooldown manager, and you don't just simply say, hey, we're Blizzard, we own your add-on because that's the agreement you agreed to, and we're just going to take everything you did and then put it into our game. But instead, it seems like they started from scratch and took no inspiration or very little inspiration from other add-ons that were already doing this for a decade plus. So for example, one of the things that's frustrating is that I can't, in Cooldown Manager, as far as I know, track other cooldowns that I have from other classes. So for example, if Bloodlust or Heroism is used, I don't think there's a way that I can track that. But then there's other stuff like, for example, one of the things I would like to be able to do is make certain tracked buffs bigger than others. Because for example, I'd like to know as often as possible when my warrior is enraged, because that's one of the most important things for my class. But something like Spell Reflect, when that's up, it's nice to know that it's up, but I don't need it to be as big as everything else. Or my offensive cooldowns like Recklessness and Avatar. It's nice to see those in my peripheral vision to know how much longer I have them up for, but I don't need to see them as big as everything else. But in the cooldown manager, unlike weak auras, I can't just go in and make just the enrage icon bigger than the rest. So all the cooldowns I'm tracking have to be the same size, and I just really don't like that. Just these small quality of life things. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a quality of life thing, and it's something that that's how I like to play the game. That's how I know what is going on in the game, and I can't do that at the moment. So I'd go and look for add-ons that I thought might be able to help with this, but I wasn't able to find any yet. Might spend some more time looking, but to be honest, I just am going to find kind of the first thing that pops up and use that. As far as cooldown manager goes, probably just going to use the default and learn to live with it. I haven't had a chance to look at the boss notifications that they have in game now. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, see how that all looks. I've turned on the damage meter, which I kind of hate that I have to go through the menu each time. I wish it was like details where I could just go like a slash command to enable it. But overall, I think the add-on Purge is more annoying than anything else. Also, I don't know why some add-ons are broken. Like, why does shadowed unit frames not work anymore? Like, how does, what specifically is that add-on doing that's breaking the game? Like weak auras might have been. My understanding when they first announced this was that stuff like weak auras, stuff like boss mods, those specifically would be targeted. And then suddenly it seems like it's all add-ons are having issues now, and it's random stuff is not working for some reason. So overall, I'm pretty down on the first week of pre-patch. I know today we've got the actual pre-patch event going live, which I don't know anything about. I haven't looked into anything Midnight related, so gonna just go into it blind and see what happens. Hopefully, I'm able to have a little bit more fun playing this week rather than focusing on all my add-ons and having that frustration hanging over me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think of the first week of pre-patch as far as add-ons go. Do you care at all? Has it been good or bad for you? Any good alternatives that you can recommend to people? Let me know how your first week in the Midnight pre-patch went. In other Midnight adjacent news, I was doing my end of expansion cleanup, so I was going through my quest log, making sure whatever I had in there was empty, which is the first time since Warlords or Legion that I'm going into an expansion with nothing in my quest log, so don't know why I'm weirdly excited about that. I cleaned up my bank, got rid of some old gear like the PvP stuff from Season 1, I got rid of a bunch of trinkets I've been holding on to and some of the currencies that I no longer needed. This is actually the cleanest my bank has stayed the entire expansion, so that didn't take that long. And then I went through all the renowned vendors to see if there's anything I still needed to buy, bought all that, and then I went through all the War Within currencies to see if there's anything that I can just waste my currencies on now. So with like resonance crystals, for example, just buying decor or just other transmogs that I guess I could use. A big one was Kedge. I actually had like, I think 75,000 Kedge, and I was missing a bunch of cooking recipes and pets from that. So after buying all of those, I still had like 50,000 left over, so I went and bought a bunch of pets that I'll just sell in the auction house. I don't anticipate them selling anytime soon. Those will probably be sales that happen after the War Within, when people come back and don't want to go farm that currency to buy those pets. They'll just buy it on the auction house. So a little bit of gold, it was technically free, so I'm not going to use Kedge for anything else, so may as well just use that. And I did that on the 5 characters I primarily played this expansion, so my warrior, priest, hunter, shaman, and paladin. I'll probably stick with the same crew in Midnight. My warrior is always going to be my main. I am probably going to stick with playing PvP on my hunter because I loved that so much. And that'll probably be the first altar that I level in Midnight. Shaman healing is always my favorite, so if I want to play a healer, I will most likely go with them, unless priest somehow gets more fun. And then as for tanking, as much as I love Prop Pally, when the War Within started, there was a toss-up as to whether I wanted to play that character or my Death Knight. I'm thinking maybe this expansion I'll go with a Death Knight for a tank, because I just really enjoyed that when I was playing it in Mop Remix. I don't mind playing Paladin again, but I do kind of want to try Death Knight, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm torn, so let me know what your thoughts are on that. I just mentioned Mop Remix, but I quickly want to talk about Legion Remix, because that ended last week. I finished up leveling my last characters to 80 on Remix, and I was able to get the last achievements that I needed, including the hidden one to complete all of the class campaigns and get all the mounts. So I was able to get every single achievement in Legion Remix, which I'm very happy about. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that, or if I even could, because I didn't really want to level all that many characters, but it ended up working out. So as tedious as it was, happy I got that done. I posted a video last week talking about my thoughts on Remix, so if you want to check that out, that's linked in the description box below. But over the last month, I have been trying to level up more characters. So like I said, I finished off the level 80 Warlock that I still needed in Remix. And then on retail, I've just been doing dungeons with the Turbulent Timeways buff that's active. So each week I'll do at least one character, get them from 70 to 80. It's usually about 4 dungeons. So on retail, I got another Death Knight, my Prot Warrior, my Prot Paladin, and my Resto Druid to level 80. I think Turbulent Timeways is still up for a little bit longer, so I'll continue doing that. One of the things also that was recently released was Brawler's Guild, which I was going back into to check that out. I've never really been a big fan of it. I think the main sticking point with me is just the fact that there's an actual queue to get in. I wish it was like an instance thing so I could just do it myself over and over again. So typically what I'll do before work in the morning, just because there's usually not that many people around, if anyone, is I'll just go do a few bosses. My main goal there is just to get whatever achievements are needed and then not do it again. I haven't done anything difficult yet, but I think that comes once you get like max level and start doing the rank 8 unlocks or something like that. I forget how it all works, but just slowly working my way through that. I spent a little bit more time on my house this past month. The only thing that was missing to do was just the interior of it. So on stream, I spent about, I think it was like an hour close to that, just decorating the inside, which decorating is kind of used loosely there. Because I kind of just changed the way the walls look. I put a chair in the middle upside down. And then my favorite thing is that I took the entrance, or I guess the exit if you're inside, I took that and just put it way off inside of a wall. So if you go inside of my house, the only way you can get out is by hearthing. I don't know why that makes me smile and makes me laugh, but it's just very funny to me. And I'm looking forward to the day that I forgot I did that and have to go inside my house to do an achievement or something. And then I get annoyed by myself for having done that. But until that day comes, I'm very happy with how my house turned out. But yeah, overall, that's pretty much it. I haven't really been doing a whole lot in WoW over the last few months, I would say. It's mainly just been remix and now pre-patch stuff a little bit. And I've got to say that, like, I'm getting that feeling again that I really want to play WoW. Not that I was burnt out before, but I just wasn't really as invested because I was doing other stuff outside of the game that was really pulling me. But now I'm just like very much so wanting to play, and it's perfect timing with the expansion coming out. And so I'm even finding myself now like logging in because like I just want to be on WoW. Like I want to go do something. So I'm just doing like delves, for example, tier 7s, trying to get a couple more transmog pieces just for fun. And I'm not minding it. From there, I'll talk about some of the achievements that I got. I was able to get 165 more points, and I'm ending the month at 48,330. I spent some time working on my engineering and finally got that to max level, so I was able to get the achievement to get all of the War Within professions to max level, and I'm glad that that's over. Another achievement I got was a Flash in the Void, which is to open 100 Flicker Gates in Delves. That was the last War Within Delve achievement that I needed, so all done there. I just had to do like 400 more delves for the 1000 achievement, and then I'm all done. When I logged in on patch day, I got a couple new achievements, the first being the Manaforge Omega collect a set from the raid achievement. Kind of last minute, but I'm glad I was able to get that done. That was the last collection achievement I needed for More Within, so everything is done there. And then I got the Insurmountable collection achievement, which is to collect 600 mounts. Speaking of mounts, from that achievement, I got the Anushala mount. I like the colors on it, but honestly, I really don't like this model. I know everybody loves it and stuff, but I don't. This is not the ugliest mount, but it is, I would say, top 10 ugliest models in the game for me. But other mounts I got were the Savage Crimson Battle Turtle for 500 tendies, the Bronze Aquilon Harness from the Turbulent Timeways, the Bone Freezer from getting rank 14 with the Manaforge Vandals, and then in Legion Remix, I got the last class mounts that I needed for Warlock. So there was I think 3 or 4. The best one is definitely the Netherlord's Accursed Wrathsteed. It's from a rare in Broken Shore. It is so freaking cool. I love this mount. In other news, over the last month there were a couple things that I watched that I wanted to just quickly shout out. They were Dexter Original Sin and Dexter Resurrection. Original Sin is a prequel to Dexter, and Resurrection is a sequel to the sequel of Dexter. And if you've never watched Dexter, no spoilers, but it is about a serial killer who kills bad people. Fantastic first half of the show, and the second half really falls off a cliff. Sequel is, I guess. But Original Sin, I loved it a lot. It was like, it really felt like early season Dexter, and I just had a really good time watching it. And then Resurrection had a couple things that were not that great, but overall, it was a very good season. Very excited for season 2. And the thing that I loved about Resurrection, and hated at the same time, was the fact that it made me so anxious, the way that the original seasons of Dexter did, where I'm putting myself in Dexter's shoes or these people's shoes and just anxious and stressed out, like what would I do in this scenario, and legitimately feeling that inside of me. And I hate that feeling, but at the same time, I love that a show can make me feel that. So if you're looking for something fun to watch, I would definitely check any of those Dexter shows out. But that's it for me. That's all that I did in January. Let me know what you got up to this month, whether it's in WoW or outside of it. Let me know what you think of pre-patch, what you think of the add-on Purge, or what do you think of the weather outside. Anything and everything, I would love to read about it down below in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe because there always is more videos coming. Unless I die, of course, in which that case, yikes. If you're looking for something more to watch, like I mentioned earlier, I posted a video last week talking about my thoughts on Legion Remix, so if you want to see that, that video is on screen now, and you can click it to watch. Thanks for watching this video. Love you lots. I'll talk to you soon. Be safe.